Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Trump firing Powell and the markets. Trump has repeatedly threatened to fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. We've talked repeatedly about how it would quickly shake the economy. Well, when he was on Face the Nation, Representative Jim Himes of Connecticut said Trump was basically getting that same warning from his team. Quote, "Well, interestingly, inside the White House, and I don't know who it is, my guess is it's maybe the Treasury Secretary, is saying, and this is a very difficult thing to say to a person like Donald Trump, that if you fire the Fed chair, either illegally, which they're happy to do, or because you trump up some baloney-like charge associated with a renovation of the headquarters, there is going to be a massive market reaction, because you cannot lie to the capital markets." The Wall Street Journal ran an article suggesting it was Treasury Secretary Bessent. Trump is definitely in his feelings. He posted to social media, quote, "The Wall Street Journal ran a typically untruthful story today by saying that Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, explained to me that firing Jerome Too Late Powell, the worst Federal Reserve chairman in history, would be bad for the market. Nobody had to explain that to me. I know better than anybody what's good for the market and what's good for the USA." Nobody had to explain that to me? Somebody absolutely needed to explain that to him. Somebody should also explain that the mere threat of firing him, which Trump has done repeatedly, could actually shake the markets in the same way. Somebody should also explain that trumping up some weird reasoning, like the expense of renovations, hypothetically speaking, of course, to fire him, could also shake the markets. Somebody should also explain that wide-ranging uncertainty over the state of international trade is bad for long-term capital investment and bad for the markets. That's why his tariff announcements sent the market into correction. The fact that he's done these things suggests that maybe, just maybe, he doesn't know better than anybody what's good for the market and what's good for the USA. As Trump tries to act like he's king of the market, let's remind everybody that he sent the market into correction with his tariff games. And while he talks about record highs, the reality is that as of this morning, the Dow is only up 0.72% since Trump took office. You would have literally got a better return from a savings account. That's not actually good. The numbers only look good if you count from the bottom of the dip he created with tariffs. But now, the all-knowing Trump has publicly said he understands how damaging it would be to fire Powell. So that means he'll stop threatening it, right? If he understands how damaging firing Powell is, that means he should also understand how damaging it would be to appoint a loyalist who would politicize the position and cater to Trump's erratic whims. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.